Hello, hello, yes it is I, the conspicuous moo. And welcome to my first week without a guild raid to attend. Now, importantly to clarify, the guild hasn't imploded yet, and I haven't left. We've just decided to stop pushing for ahead of the curve, and the reasons for this are painfully obvious. It hasn't escaped our attention that getting people to sign up for heroic raiding twice a week has been pretty hard going of late. Fewer people are logging on at all, and those that are tend to be raid logging, i.e. just logging on to raid and just go missing for the rest of the week. Before the Sunday stream, we had a grand total of 9 players signed up to continue our pushing motions into the Hungering Destroyer, which I keep calling the Hungering Devourer because that makes more sense, and it also sounds better, but I digress. We managed to get that to 11 with some Discord prodding, but really, it shouldn't have to come to that. Now, I mean absolutely no disrespect to the DPS amongst you here. I have, for the record, done more windwalking than mistweaving in this raid tier. But the tank and healer roles are, I feel, kind of important to have locked into place. And so when one of our healing team decided, perfectly understandably, that they weren't interested in heroic Nathria anymore, that was a blow, to be sure. But then one of our tanks also decided to absent themselves, and, by that stage we knew that the writing was on the wall. It was large, in bright pink, because those are our guild colours, and very obvious. We just weren't going to make it to Nathrius. Now, there are many factors as to why interest in raiding collapsed in the guild, but the main ones we gleaned from the team are as follows. Number 1, and most common, was we're waiting for 9.1. A very, very popular refrain to be sure. A number of guildies are taking a break until more content comes out. This isn't particularly surprising, given that, 3 months and 21 days after the launch of Shadowlands, we are still waiting for something new to do. Everyone has now maxed their reputations, they've completed their Covenant campaigns, upgraded all of their Anima Conductors, Death Gardens, and Soulbinds. The prospect of spending the next few months doing world quests on the mission table every day just simply isn't palatable to them. Number 2, Nathria isn't terribly good. Now, this is a subjective opinion, of course, but there are some very, very smelly bosses in this raid. It's not likely to be remembered fondly by the player base once we've moved on. I will, of course, give props to my favourites like Sun King Salvation, Enerva Darkvein, and Huntsman Altamore, but I will give tetanus to others like Sludgefist, Stone Legion Generals, Council of Blood, and my pet hate, Zymox the Artificer. It is rather difficult to drum up enthusiasm for raiding when everyone has the prospect of wiping constantly in unfun encounters. 3. Reward versus effort. Now, while a large part of this problem has now been addressed by Blizzard, it unfortunately came far too late in the day to retain those still raiding, or recover the many that we'd already lost along the way. We spent far too long receiving 35 anima for our efforts, basically. Similarly, nobody can be bothered with Mythic Plus either now. To get an upgrade for most of the raid group would involve timing a plus 15, and this is not happening anytime soon. It's also worth pointing out that that immediate reward is still 3 eye levels below heroic grade loot levels. You could, conversely, time a plus 7 and hope that your weekly Great Vault reward is decent. The recent implementation of the Valor upgrade system also doesn't look like it gives a really big bang for your buck, which just exacerbates the whole reward versus effort problem. And when you add a tier system that requires you to clear all Mythic Plus dungeons at a plus 10 before you can even start to upgrade the notable pieces, then it just simply isn't worth the energy. Number 4, people returning to Classic to get set for the Burning Crusade. Now, this one was always going to be a problem for Blizzard, because recently, the earliest versions of WoW have tended to eclipse anything that they're doing in the modern version. It's no secret that Battle for Azeroth was almost entirely carried by World of Warcraft Classic, because the latter requires a current subscription to play, and there were a tsunami in numbers when Classic launched. Similarly, there are a good number of our guildies who are prepared to be not prepared, and will continue to subscribe to the game. It's just that they will be running Mana Tombs now instead of Sanguine Depths. Accordingly, the guild has experienced a population drop in retail as everyone goes back to their 60s and Classic and tie up any loose ends they have there. Some are even planning on Draenei Shamans and Blood Elf Paladins, so they're even more committed than most. And 5, finally, recruitment has been especially difficult. I do feel bad for the members that have joined in the last few weeks, as they'll be getting into it only to have it taken away, and these have been really good players and fine additions to the team. But finding ungilded players who have completed normal Nathria and are interested in heroic progression, but they haven't cleared heroic Nathria already and either have it on farm or have similarly quit until 9.1 like a lot of other people, those gems are very few and far between. But that is a symptom of the increasing age of the raid tier itself. Usually we'd have a fresh raid by now to get our blades into. So I don't blame people for wanting to do something else with their time. There are other games to play and almost nothing to do in this one. I myself have been Vikinging it up in Valheim, and I will continue to do so. But I am a little sad that we won't be getting ahead of the curve together. For my part, I will continue to raid, and I will now have to face off in the pugging world. For those of you unaware of this term, PUG stands for Pickup Group. Basically, you join teams of like-minded individuals from around the world without any idea how anyone else plays. You wipe once on a boss, rage quit, and then call out strangers using various fruity language. If nothing else, it should make for great streaming lulls. I still want to stamp on Nathria's crown jewels and strip him of his best clothing. I want him to scream for me, and I'm most likely to achieve that as a Mistweaver. However, for everything else, I might as well just switch back to Brewmaster because it's A, fun, B, impossible to get dismounted, and C, it's the best spec for Borefests like Torghast. So I am by no means giving up on Shadowlands, Monks or Nathria, but let's be honest, Blizzard doesn't really deserve much loyalty right now. Pandemic or otherwise, they knew that this was going to happen, and their response was to put another 6-month subscription mount onto the shop. I'm not surprised that the numbers overall are plummeting. Anyway, do stay tuned as I pug cry my way through Heroic Nathria, report on the pressing monk issues of the week, and probably stream a lot of Valheim shenanigans involving a raft, as apparently I need to get across to the Elder and take all of his things, if I really want those stone walls as badly as I do. So, stay cheesy friends, and I am the conspicuous moo, and a surprisingly good grateful reward for you.